You're being forced back into the office, but why? And more importantly, how do you avoid being trapped? I lost my hybrid startup job back in March of 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. And I won't lie, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. It was a tough few years, but honestly, it was one of the best wake-up calls I could have ever asked for. I was shackled by the golden handcuffs, which is a great salary, great benefits, but no real freedom. And I was too scared to ask for what I really needed because I didn't want to risk losing it all. Sound familiar? But here's the thing, this isn't about me. It's happening to thousands of people right now. And if you don't really understand what's going on, you could be next. 5 years ago, my dream was crystal clear. Work from anywhere, skip the commute, and finally take control of my time. And for a while there, it felt like we won. But now, companies are dragging people back to the office like it's 1999. So let's break this down. Why are companies doing this? What does this mean for your future? And more importantly, how do you stay ahead? So back in 2020, 35% of the workforce was completely remote. That's when workers had leverage. Companies were competing for talent, raising salaries, and offering flexibility just to attract and retain employees. We saw the Great Resignation peak in 2021, with more than 47 million Americans voluntarily quitting their jobs in that year alone. According to Microsoft's Work Trend Index, over 40% of the global workforce considered quitting at that time. People wanted more control of their careers, their work environments, and their time. But fast forward to today, that power dynamic has flipped. By 2023, the percentage of fully remote workers dropped to just 12.2%. And now companies aren't just suggesting that folks come back to work, they're forcing it. Even though studies show that remote workers are just as productive, if not more, big corporations are forcing people back into the office. Why? Let's get into it. So why are companies forcing us back? They'll tell you it's about culture and collaboration, but let's be real, it's deeper than that. Here are 3 real reasons behind the push. So first and foremost, office leases are expensive. Before the pandemic, many corporations signed long-term leases with property owners where they're renting office space within a building. So now corporations are sitting on millions of square feet of empty office space that they can't easily get out of. And every empty seat is a financial loss. So the second is the productivity myth. Some CEOs or business owners believe that in-person work leads to better results. The data is mixed, but perception matters more than reality in certain businesses and contexts. And the third and final piece is about control and leverage. So when employees are in the office, some managers feel like they have a bit more control and a bit more oversight. So it's less about performance and more about the power that they wield. So we're seeing a lot of big names like JP Morgan, Dell, Citigroup, Amazon. They're all leading the charge back into the office. And it's not just the private sector. We're seeing this with government agencies, even some tech companies are all mandating in-office work again. And for those of us who are working remotely, we're not out of the woods. According to a recent WSJ article, employees who are working remotely 5 days a week are 35% more likely to be laid off than their hybrid or in-office counterparts. And the explanation for this is simply when companies have to cut their workforces, proximity bias often leads the way. It's easier for a manager to lay off an employee they only see on their computers than a person that they see every single day in person. So what does this mean to you? If you're back in the office or being pressured to return, you're already feeling the burn. The commute is back, wasting hours in traffic or on public transport. There's less autonomy, meaning there's no more quick grocery runs or midday workouts. There's fewer opportunities to explore other passions because simply your schedule is dictated by your employer, and those golden handcuffs are even tighter. Your job's paying you well, and now you feel like you're stuck. Because let's be honest, we're not in 2021 anymore. The economy's slowing down, layoffs are increasing, and job seekers just don't have the same leverage. So before you say, I quit, I'm gonna be honest, the job market is really tough right now. But if you're serious about transitioning to remote work, you're gonna need a strategy. Here's how you play it smart. So here's a remote work strategy that works in 2025. First, follow the macro and micro trends. The tech industry is super volatile right now, and if you're following the news, government layoffs are increasing. But there's still industries like edtech or telehealth that may still have remote roles available. In any case, go where the demand is. So the second, forget remote first companies. These are the companies that come up whenever you search for remote roles on Google search, for example. These roles are flooded with applicants. Instead, go after the remote friendly roles in industries where remote work isn't as competitive. Third, upskill and reposition. If your current role is office bound, that's okay, but try to get some remote friendly skills now. Go get some Google certs, get on Coursera, get on Udemy, and these can all help you pivot. So fourth, leverage a side play. So if fully remote roles are harder to come by, think about a hybrid income stream, especially as they're becoming more ubiquitous in this point in time. Consider consulting, freelancing, content creation, or even a niche side hustle that can eventually lead to your full-time gig. So this leads me back to something I said in my last video. First, you have to decide, make the call. If remote work is something that you're really invested in, build a plan around it. Second, pitch. If you're employed, don't quit just yet. Sit down with your employer and see if there's opportunity for flexibility. Not all companies are against remote work, but they want to see that there's a business case attached to it. And experiment. Try remote side projects. Build something small, test it, see how it works. Worst case scenario, you have some new skills. Best case scenario, you're starting to create your own path. Remote work isn't dead, it's just evolving. And if you pay attention, you can stay ahead of the curve. So what's your current work situation? Are you being forced back? Are you staying remote? Drop a comment below. And if you want to see the biggest mistakes people make when they stay remote, watch this video next. I break down what I wish I knew sooner and how to navigate these changes the right way. If you got value from this, like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And until next time, take good care.